Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Kim Cox. This is Medicare 101 Education Seminar, or a course, just something to give you some more nuggets about Medicare and maybe understand a little bit more uh, what goes on. So I've got my screen up. Hopefully I was able to share it. Oh, it's probably not up yet, so hold on. We're just waiting for a few folks to log in. Um, and then I'll do a quick introduction. Yeah, I think we have a couple more. Let's give them a sec. All right, let's share my screen. The technology, see if it pops it up. Share. All right, there. Hopefully it came up. Anyway, again, I'm Kim Cox. I help people with signing up with Medicare and educating them on understanding what it means. So if you're turning 65 soon, or you know somebody that is, then you're in the right spot. This is the starting point of your journey to get to your Medicare eligibility date where you are able to get your cards and be on Medicare. Um, yeah, so I welcome you all, and hopefully it's not too much. It is going to be some information, so grab your pen and paper if you want to take some notes. But don't worry about it, because if you still are confused when we get off or you want to get some more information, we can always have a free consultation with me and I can help you navigate a little bit more and educate more. So I'm going to try to go slow enough, but I tend to talk fast. So I'll try to keep it slow just so I don't overwhelm anybody. But I do apologize if I do. All right, so we're going to go over a lot of topics today. We're going to be talking about how to enroll in Medicare, when to enroll in Medicare. We're going to talk about the different pieces of the alphabet soup that we call it, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G of Medicare, which continues to get more confusing. But we have a lot of awesome topics today, and hopefully you can walk away with just some more knowledge. It's my goal. So let's get started. And again, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I think it's about maybe half an hour. But a little bit about me first. So I just wanted to pop up this little slide. But I've been helping folks just like you find that right Medicare plan. And we pride ourselves in taking care of our clients, taking care of those that need the help with Medicare. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys that come and ask for help. So we appreciate it. But here I am. A little bit about me is I obviously do insurance and I help people, but this is me. I teach chair yoga for these fabulous seniors at an apartment complex in San Diego, California. And that's kind of just one of my out of work passions that I do. It's just a unique piece of what I do. Huh. So let's start with the original piece of Medicare. Let's see if it brings it up for me here. Sorry, technology. All right, so we've got the original piece. We call it original Medicare. I think my mouse just died, so we'll use this one. Original Medicare. So if you can see, there's a Part A, and that is hospital coverage. And then you see there's a Part B, that's the doctor coverage. So Part A is $0 unless you don't have enough work credit. So one of the things about Medicare is over your course of working, you have to have so many credits. I think it's 40 work credits for that Part A to be 0. If you don't meet that, then you will have to pay some portion of that hospital Part A. And then the Part B for 2026 is $202.90 a month. That is standard. You can't get out of it. It comes out of your Social Security check. So that's just, we call it standard. All right, so everybody who's on Medicare must have Part A and Part B in order to be on what we call full Medicare. And we'll talk about some unique situations here, in this workshop that maybe you aren't quite yet on Part B, but inevitably you're going to be on Part A and B as a Medicare recipient. So how and when to enroll? This can be easy. If you're currently taking Social Security benefits, you did at 62, you'll be automatically enrolled in Parts A and B. So you don't even have to worry about it. And that's going to happen 3 months before your birthday. So if you're worried about how I get my Part A and B, but you take Social Security benefits, or you're applying to take your Social Security benefits, you'll be automatically enrolled. Very easy, very nice of the government to do that for you. And they make it easy on us. So that $202.90 is going to be taken out of your Social Security check. Okay? Then you should receive your red, white, and blue card 3 months before your 65th birthday. If you do not take Social Security, maybe you're not ready to take it. You're maximizing your Social Security benefits. You're waiting until an older age to take it. Well, then you must take one more step than everybody else does. You're going to have to manually enroll in Original Medicare. And again, we can help with that. So I can do a free consultation. At the end, I'll have a link for my calendar, so that you're not on your own. That's what we're here for, so that you're not in the sea of Medicare confusion. So we can do this in a couple ways. If you have to manually enroll. And then let's click the next. It always pops me off. Next slide. There we go. It's just being slow today. Okay. So this is the kind of recapping what we kind of just talked about. Your 3 months ahead of time, you must manually enroll. Okay. Now, let's go to the next one. So this is if you're not currently enrolled. Sorry, a bunch of screens up. All right. So if you see the link on there, there's many ways you can do it: online, on the phone, in person. Some people literally like to be in person, and that's fine. You can mail it in. So you have options. Online is the easiest, and there's a link here if you want to take that down. Again, if you just want to wait, contact me. I can help you with that. All right. All right, so this is important. Some folks don't realize that they get to the point to where they're right before they're going to get their Medicare should be started, and they haven't done this yet. It's a critical step and point where you have to make sure you manually enroll. And again, we can help you with that to make sure you do it in the right amount of time. But you can do it all those ways listed here. So I like that. I want to reiterate, if you take Social Security benefits, you will not have to manually enroll. You are automatically enrolled. And if you do not take Social Security benefits, you have to enroll yourself in one of these methods of Part A and Part B. This is always the starting point of Medicare. So we now know that Part A is free if you have enough credits. And if you don't, you might have to pay a little bit. Part B, 2026, is going to be that $202.90. Okay, that doesn't change. Well, sometimes it changes every year, but it's not a lot. But it did change a little bit this year. Now you will get a bill from Social Security. That is, if you do not take your Social Security benefits, they will pull that Part B premium directly out of your Social Security if you do. If you're getting and manually enrolling in Part A and B because you don't take Social Security benefits, you're going to get a bill for 3 months worth of Part B. So that $202.90 times 3 is going to be $608.70. So don't freak out. Don't have a heart attack. That's just how they do it in the beginning. And you can we can make sure that it becomes monthly. But sometimes that first 3 months they bill you. Okay? Now, Medicare always starts, as this page says, always starts the first day of your birth month. Even if your birthday's on the 25th, it's still going to start on the first of that month. Okay? That's just how it works. There is one exception. So if you're born on the first of the month, you can always start your Medicare 1 month earlier. So again, just one more thing to confuse you, correct? So the only time or that we have somebody who does not start their coverage, their birth month of their 65th birthday, is that they were born the first of the month. All right, and they can start it the month prior. Now, if you're still working, so, you like your job, you're not ready to retire, this is when it can get a little confusing, but not too crazy. That means that you have group insurance with your employer. A large group insurance typically is pretty good. You've probably been with your doctors. You still want to work. That's fine. You can keep that insurance. So your primary coverage, even if you're 65 and older, it's going to be your group insurance, your work insurance. But the Part A will automatically be done for everybody. It's the Part B is what your group insurance, work insurance is picking up for the doctors. Hospital stuff still going to be Part A, it's still going to automatically be in that. If you want to keep that coverage, you can do that. It's kind of nice. I know it gets confusing, but that's just the way they roll it out. Good. And then you're going to delay, if you're still going to keep your work insurance and you have Part A, Medicare, you're going to delay that Part B part because that's getting taken care of by your work because you don't want to do that. That's fine. But A is going to be your full plan. Okay. It's not required that you do the B. But if you quit that job or don't have that job, then you have to manually enroll in Part B. Okay. Some delay it because their group benefits are better. Some find out that the Medicare better than their group insurance. Again, that's where we come in. Free consultation. You want to find out. We just look at all the pieces for you just to make it easier on you. Because sometimes Medicare is a better deal with the premiums and the care. But we could take a look at that. And then a lot of people say, well, why can't we just use original Medicare as our primary coverage? Well, there's several reasons. Original Medicare is not going to be sufficient. And unfortunately, the way that original Medicare was built, it's not going to be sufficient in making sure you're taken care of 100%. It doesn't cover everything. So here are a few pitfalls that can exist with just Medicare Part A and B. Let's go to the next thing here. See what we got. Yeah, here's the exposures of just having Medicare A and B. But they don't realize that Part A and B is just not going to be enough. Well, it's not because you've got major problems here. It's just that Part A has a deductible that's $1,736 per incident in 2026. So if like 3 different things happen in the hospital, you're going to pay that $1,736 each time. It's not like regular insurance where you have the deductible and then everything else is, covered pretty much. No. So that can be problematic. Okay, you've got on Part B, the deductible is $283, which you might not think is too bad, but here's the problem. If you end up in the hospital and you cover your $283, that's great. But now you're exposed to 20% of whatever that bill comes from that event. So let's just imagine you have a surgery that you need. Maybe something comes up and you need surgery. It's not something life-threatening, but it's a surgery you need. Most surgeries are at least $50,000 to $100,000 if you were to pay full price. But because you have Part A, and Part B, you're going to pay $283 first. Sounds great. Now, reminder that this surgery, you're not hospitalized. So this Part B is a Part B event, what they call it. So you pay that $283. If that surgery was $100,000, you're exposed to 20% of the bill now. And there's no cap on it. So you could end up paying $20,000 out of pocket. And that was not expected, right? You think Medicare is going to cover everything. So again, we're going to look at the big picture for everything just to make sure that you guys understand. Again, we can do a free consultation. You can ask all those questions. No obligation. Okay? So the exposure is the problem by just having the A and B original Medicare. So here is where we fix those gaps. All right, let's go to the next slide. So now comes to the things, maybe you've heard of this. You've heard of supplemental, you've heard of Advantage plans because it's out there and you're probably getting inundated with stuff in the mail. So, but this is the point where we have to decide how are we going to fill those gaps. Okay? Supplemental or Medicare Advantage or supplemental or Advantage, however you want to say it. There's 22 types of supplements that we could use to fill those gaps of Part A and Part B. Again, that's where we come in, help you understand all that. I'm not going to get into it today because it's a lot, but at least I'm trying to lay the groundwork for you. Okay, so both the deductible on Part A and the deductible on Part B and the 20% you're exposed to. There's two types of supplements. All right, here's the funny thing. All those things that you're getting in the mail, they fall into that one or two categories. Supplemental, Advantage. So the Medicare supplements, which can also be called Medigap, so those kind of come into the same, and then that Medicare Advantage. That's it. There's really two routes we can go. That keeps it a little more simple, I think. There's still a lot of letters that we're going to get into. So they're different. So each route we take have positives and negatives, and we have to decide what works best for you. That is the whole point of this, is everyone's situation is going to be different, and budget's part of it, doctors are part of it, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit of a second. But we have to make the decision, and we can help you come to that end point. Okay, now at this point, we're halfway through-ish. If this has been too much and you can't take it anymore because your brain just went, then you'll get since you got in this, you'll get an email from me. You'll have my information and I can send you a link calendar. You can make an appointment. Okay, so if you've had enough or you got to go, you still have a way to get in touch with me if you have some questions, and that's okay. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Now, for continuing on, let's learn a bit about the A, B, C, D, F, G, more of the letters. Okay. Oh, let's go to the next thing too. So, I got Medicare. So here's a little breakdown, kind of the difference. The two options. Medigap is what's going to help fill that gap for that 20% co-insurance, whatever you want to call it, the 20% that you're going to have to pay for that the original Medicare doesn't cover. We fill that gap. And then you've got the Medicare Supplement Part D, which I forgot to mention, it slipped my mind in the beginning, but the D part is the prescription drug component of it. So one of the problems with original Medicare is it does not offer prescription drug coverage. You would have to go to a secondary carrier. So it's just not all compartmentalized into one, right? So the Advantage plan, as you can see, all of that's included. See, so there's a difference. It means they just kind of wanted to make it simple for everybody. Put it all in one, but there's going to be disadvantages of that as well, which I will get into because it can have some pitfalls that you don't think about. It sounds nice because the Advantage plan wraps it all into a nice little package, but there are pitfalls. Okay. It's not replacing that 20%, all of it. It's just overriding original Medicare. You still have copays. So this is an Advantage plan. You still have copays. You have a cap on what out of pocket can be, but it still can be a lot if you end up in the hospital. So positives and negatives. The Medicare supplements or Medigap plans. I'm going to be a little biased because it's a great plan and there's reasons because it just covers a lot less out of pocket. But there's a disadvantage for some people as well. It's still for me the best plan, but it doesn't fit for everybody. If it's not a fit, then we don't go with that plan. Again, all things that we can talk about to see what fits you best. So with the Medigap supplement, your only out of pocket is the $283 deductible. That's what that's paying kind of, and the deductible that your Part B. So what does that mean? That means if you have 5 surgeries in 1 year, the most you're going to pay is $283. After that, you're covered 100%. It's an incredible program. You can't find better insurance on the planet, but what's that downfall? The downfall is that there's a out-of-pocket premium. So you have to pay per month for it. Medicare Advantage plan is $0 per month. So that's why people are drawn towards it because it's no money for a monthly premium, but the Medicare Medigap does. Advantages, disadvantages, Medicare supplement Medigap plan. You can choose any doctor. There's no contract. You can go to any hospital in the United States, anywhere. You're not tied in. And you get a standalone prescription drug plan. Advantage plan, if you can see, oh, my mouse is not working. The Medicare Advantage has higher out-of-pocket costs, but you don't have a monthly payment, right? There's no $0. That sounds great, but you're stuck in a network and you have to have a referral. And they've been dropping off a lot, like a Scripps clinic dropped a Medicare PPO plan. That was an Advantage. So you run the risk of yearly that changing, which means you have to change doctors again, change your network, which is one, time consuming and just frustrating. Okay, so you have to get all new doctors and people don't like that. We've been with our doctors for a while. So again, positives and negatives of both. Original Medicare, you get Part A, Part B, you get a supplement on top of that. That's where you have a monthly payment, okay? But you have very low out-of-pocket expense, and then you have to have standalone private prescription drug plan. Now, original Medicare, remember those exposures? A is hospital. You've got that 1,073, there's 1,736 for each hospital stay out of your pocket. And then Part B, you've got that $283 deductible. And then everything is 20%, so a lot more out of pocket. I just popped this up because it kind of just shows you all the A's and B's and C's and G's, and you don't really need to know it, but I just like to put up there. So again, so even with the Advantage, even though it's $0 out of pocket, you just run the risk of, $0 premium monthly, but you run the risk of a big out of pocket, and it's very restrictive. But again, it's going to depend on your situation. I don't tell you which one to get. I let you choose, and I just give you the advantages of both. Okay, so we all have to have A and B. That's just a given. And now we just look at when do we enroll? 6 months prior to your birthday of 65, we can start looking at things, and that's what I recommend. So again, we could do a consult. You could call me up, get on my calendar, discuss, and start doing some research. Gives you a lot more time to make decisions. So it's not a last minute thing, right? Because time is of the essence with some of this. Okay, we avoid mistakes. Get it off your list. Let's go to the next one. So that's always a good. So when I was talking about the monthly premium for the supplemental plan, Plan G is one of the ones that I typically use. It's one of the more popular ones. It's going to be 100 to 200 a month, depending on your zip code and the insurance company. So there's no law. Every place is going to be a little bit different. But again, it's an extra 100 to 200 out of pocket on top of that 200 and 290 that you have to pay. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit more. Plan in looks better if you're a monthly person looking at numbers, 20 bucks a month. You still have the deductible like the G, but now you've got a copay every time you go to the doctor, got a copay for the ER, and then Part B, you could pay 15%. So it may not balance it out. We already covered that one. And then the Part D process, obviously, is the prescription drug plan. That's just where we take in all of your information. If you're on medications, your prescriptions, we look at it all. We help you choose the pharmacy with the plan in your zip code, in the plan that can cover all that. Okay, so that's, again, what we're here for, help you do that. Now, if you do the original Medicare with the supplemental and you forget the Part D, you will get a late enrollment, and we don't want that. So again, that's where we can come in, give you reminders, and make sure that you get enrolled so that you don't get that penalty. And it's a penalty that will be on your monthly premium every month. Okay? So recap, original Medicare, it's going to be $202.90 out of your Social Security check. You get a Plan G supplemental. It's going to vary by your zip code and the carrier. Prescription drug plan, they vary to 30, I would say even to 65, depending on the medications that you're on. Advantage plans, the other tier, low monthly payment, but you pay copays. You're stuck with the network, doctors and hospitals, but includes that Part D. You don't even have to do anything. There's extra benefits, dental, vision, hearing, transportation, meals, all included in that $0 per month. So I know it sounds really good. But the key is, I'm going to go back to here. The key is with this plan, if you get the G plan, it's a timing thing. You want to do it when you originally turn 65 because there's no underwriting. So even if you're ill and you see the doctor a lot, you have issues, there is no underwriting. So they don't deny you. The problem is, the Medicare Advantage sounds fantastic because it's $0. But then in 3 years of turning 65, you have a big accident or you have a heart attack. And you're like, oh, I'm limited in who I can see, my cardiologist, etc. Because things happen. Well, you want to go back now. I want to be on the supplemental plan now. Very much more difficult to get on it now because there's going to be underwriting. And if you have some issues, you could get denied. So that's, again, the other advantage of initially going for the supplemental. That's one of the reasons. All right, so we have initial enrollment. That's guys turning 65. And then we have an annual election period where they allow you to change your plan, Advantage plan, if you don't like it. Or obviously, most people on the G plan don't go on the Advantage plan unless financially they have to. But you do have opportunities to change during the year. And we can help you with that. Okay? So that's why we're about education. That's why this is a free seminar, educate you, get you more up to speed, but schedule that free consult. That way we can discuss your specific needs. And then just know when you're our client, we pride ourselves. We check in, we make sure you're okay, we're available. I give people my personal cell number. We take care of our people. Okay, we do annual reviews. If anything's changed, you file a claim. That's what sets us apart, is we're not just signing you up and sending you on your way. We are available. So we're at the end of the little seminar. So at the bottom here, that's my calendar link if you want to screenshot it. But you'll get some information in an email from me from when you signed up. So, okay. It's important to make sure that you choose the right option initially, and that's what we help you do. All right. So do that, set that time. There's no obligation. And I hope to see you or hear you on the phone, or we can do a Zoom. However, everyone's a little bit different how they like to do it. But I appreciate your time. And thank you. I'll pop off that for a sec. Yeah. All right. Have a great one. Bye.